Hello and welcome to another episode from the Yin Dog podcast. In this episode, we are talking about animal communication. Do you sometimes wonder what your dog is thinking right now? Do you wish you could talk to your dog like you do with your best friend? All of this is possible. Communication happens in many levels. We only need a sender and a receiver. This doesn't always have to be two people. We can also talk to ourselves. This is the communication that takes place in our heads and our thoughts. I suspect most of us talk to ourselves. The classic example is the question every morning in front of the wardrobe: what should I wear today? You stand in front of a shop window and have a conversation with yourself about whether you should buy those shoes or not. Or we discuss a situation at the office or with the family in our mind. These self-conversations are usually strongly influenced by our emotions and feelings. This is how we process our experiences, wishes, and plans. Because what all our conversations have in common is that we are not in the right here, right now moment, but somewhere in the future or the past. Our body is here, our mind wanders. While our body is driving a car or washing dishes, we make plans about the future or become angry about things that happened in the past. In addition to these self-conversations, humans have verbal communication. We talk. Very few animals do this. Most animals can only make noises. That's why it doesn't matter for your dog what language you speak. He fundamentally doesn't understand a word. You can teach him words and then retrieve them, but he has no understanding in his consciousness of what a ball or a banana is. If your dog doesn't understand you because he doesn't know what the word sit means, it's your job to teach him. He doesn't automatically know it. If your dog doesn't understand you, it's fundamentally always up to you to explain what you want from your dog. After all, it was your idea to bring him into your life and to have him live in your world. Your dog communicates very differently. Beside language, we also have body language, which includes gestures and facial expressions. We humans, for example, like to wave our hands and arms a lot. Most animals don't do that. Dogs, however, have a muscle above their eyes that wolves don't have. It's specifically for the famous puppy dog eyes because it works very well with humans. And then there's the very subtle communication, feelings, emotions, and intuition. You think of someone and suddenly that person calls. You don't feel like cooking and your partner asks if you want to go out to eat. You think of a song and suddenly it plays on the radio. We also call this synchronicity. An inner event manifests an outer event. In quantum physics, we assume that everything is connected. This is a very simple and completely unscientific explanation, but it works. What impact does this have on our communication? We cannot not communicate. Everything we think, feel, and say are messages we send out. These messages influence our reality. They reach every cell in our body and beyond. In this way, we create, shape, and form our reality, strongly influenced by the beliefs we have accepted as truth since our earliest childhood. So here's a little tip in the side. If you don't like your reality, consider changing your messages and whether what you believe to be true is actually true or can be changed by the power of your thoughts. And now, you can talk to your dog. Animals are true masters of intuitive communication. We humans are as well, but we have often forgotten or don't trust ourselves enough anymore, especially as adults. Children are very different to this. If we can send messages, then we can also receive messages. Your dog thinks and feels just like you do. Your dog sends messages just like you and creates his reality. For example, Your dog was bitten by another dog. Now your dog thinks other dogs are dangerous and is afraid. This feeling of fear is now being sent out by your dog. You may become insecure. Other dogs are also insecure. Your dog receives this insecurity and reacts with aggression behavior to protect himself. His reality: other dogs are dangerous. As I said, you cannot not communicate. You can remain silent. You can stop thinking. But still then, you are sending, and that is deep peace. But that's another story. We want to communicate with our dog, intuitively through thoughts. Your dog has no words, but in your thoughts, there is a universal language. To communicate with your dog, it doesn't take much. You just have to stop thinking and set yourself to receive. Sounds simple, right? And therein lies the greatest challenge. You have to clear your mind. No feelings, no interpretation, no evaluation, no judgment. An absolute trust in yourself and the message that comes. In intuitive animal communication, we use our senses, so it makes sense to see in advance which sense you can work with best. Some hear voices, others perceive feelings, and still others see pictures. Then there are different areas. In animal communication, we can talk to deceased animals. We find missing animals. We can identify disease or blockages in the body. Anyway, animal communication does not replace a visit to the vet. But we can better understand behavior. Why does the horse suddenly shy away? Why does the dog bark at the wall? Why does the cat pee on the carpet? Animal communication can be a very practical and powerful tool. It takes a lot of concentration and practice, but it's like anything else. If you stick with it, you get better. Meditation or intuitive communication are like muscles that you can train. Your dog is sending on a frequency and you need to learn to tune into it. Animal communication is just one tool among many. We humans like things to be simple, and animal communication seems like the perfect key to solving all our problems. The dog pees on the carpet? Then just tell him to stop. Unfortunately, it's not that simple. Behavior is communication too. If your dog does something you don't want, there's a reason. And it's usually not just to annoy you. His behavior has a message for you. Through animal communication, we can find out why your dog is peeing on the carpet. But the solution to the problem lies with you. Once you have the answer, it's up to you to take action and change things so your dog doesn't have to pee on the carpet to get your attention. Maybe he doesn't like the room scent, or he has health problems, or he's bored, or you're not attentive and always distracted, or you're stressed, or you have health problems and ignore it. You see, the message behind a behavior can be extremely varied. Your dog watches you all the day. Your dog receives your feelings and thoughts 24/7. No, he can't read your thoughts, but your feelings. So, your dog knows you better than you know yourself. Addressing an unwanted behavior with a method or technique that simply suppresses the behavior will not be a long-term solution. There's the nice image of balls swimming in the pool. You are in the pool trying to push a bunch of balls floating on the water under the surface. It works for a moment, but normally everything will fly up and hit you. This also happens when we just try to suppress problems. Animal communication can be a real treasure. The answers aren't always pleasant, but they often help us to see and think more clearly again. That's why animal communication doesn't replace a visit to the vet or dog trainer, but it can provide the very good clues about what to look for. The messages can give us hints and show us the way. The advantage is that normal animal communication is independent of time and space. We only need a photo, name, age, and gender. The animal doesn't have to do anything, not even be physically present. So here are some facts and legends. The legend. Do you want to learn to talk to your pet? That's great. It's a widespread legend that you cannot communicate well with your own pet. In fact, we are in constant exchange with our pet, but often we lack distance and self-reflection. We are unsure or interpret too much into it. It is fundamentally very good to free ourselves from too much thinking. Animal communication is a good exercise for that. We combine the practical with the useful. We learn to free ourselves from all judgments and obstructive thinking. Then it also works with your own pet. The obstacle. In animal communication, we are dealing with a snapshot. If you have a photo of a puppy, but the dog is already 13 years old, this can distort the results. Even if another person conducts the communication, it can bring different results, just like the same question at a different time. On the other hand, one of my clients had 3 communicators searching for her cat, and all 3 independently conclude that the cat was dead. The prohibition. You must not talk to other people's animals. I'll say it again. You cannot not communicate. We are constantly in exchange with those around us. When I walk past the meadow, I ask the cows how they are and wish them a good day, or congratulate them on their beautiful calves. When I go to the horses, I greet all horses. However, what we should avoid at all is promising help. It's like in a crime novel when the policeman says we will find who has done that. He cannot be sure that he will. And we cannot promise a strange animal something that we cannot surely keep. So it is a difference to say, I will help you, or I will try to help you. Also, we should never interfere with facts without being asked. We can make someone aware. I have the feeling your horse is not feeling well. Maybe it doesn't like the food. But please don't say your horse told me it doesn't like its food, especially not if the person didn't ask for it. The trap. We are humans. We think humanly. We like to think humanly for others too. Seeing pets as humans is a widespread topic. On the one hand, it is extremely important to finally accept that animals also have feelings and can think. So we should humanize them to a certain extent. After all, we are just animals too. But we should be aware of projecting our thoughts and feelings into the animal, because then we quickly run the risk of just confirming ourselves. In doing so, we don't listen to the animal. That helps our ego, but not the animal. I hope this episode has shed some light on the topic of animal communication. I spent my childhood in forests and with animals. Intuitive communication was the most natural thing in the world for me. Years ago, I consciously learned it and have been refining it ever since. If you want me to talk to your animal, or if you want to learn animal communication yourself, send me a message. Thank you for listening. Topic for the next episode next week will be separation anxiety in dogs. I wish you and your dog a good time. Bye.